Now,
so Chris VanMeter is on the left of your screen, and Devin is on the right.
I think that Chris VanMeter first got noticed because of his play of Hive Mind in Legacy.
Okay.
And I believe he won a Star City Games Open using the same deck list that was used to win the Grand Prix, not Grand Prix, pardon me, to do well at another major Legacy event just previous to that.
Okay. Chris VanMeter has done very well. I think actually the first result I remember Chris VanMeter was when he was playing the green-blue Genesis Wave deck that Conley Woods designed way back at the beginning of the season in Kansas City, I think it was.
Yes, was that Kansas City or was that Illinois? Or Indiana, I mean.
Kansas City, but there's a lot of tournaments.
Sometimes, I know, there's so many.
Sometimes I confuse them. The only ones I remember are the ones where I do well. So.
Right. And to be fair, Chris VanMeter got 4th place with Hive Mind in the Star City Games Open Series in Seattle.
Okay.
And a number of other top finishes.
He's I believe the current leader for the Star City Games Rookie of the Year title.
Cool. And there we see Devin Koepke. We'll say that's what it is. Island versus Seacrom Coast. These decks are mirror images of each other.
They're super similar.
Devin has 4 Gut Shot, where Chris VanMeter has 2 Gut Shot and 1 Dismember.
Chris VanMeter has 1 additional land, where Devin has a Stitch Drake. And Devin actually only has 3 copies of Gataxian Probe. And yet he had it turn 1. How lucky. So Devin's draw... I'm a little confused by how Devin's playing this game. It looks like he has quite a few creatures in his hand and has not cast any of them yet. I'm not really sure what his plan is going in here, but he has Lord. Maybe he just doesn't want to cast his Lords and get them imaged. I guess that actually probably
makes totally reasonable.
Yeah, he actually has Lord, but doesn't want to play Lords for fear of his opponent imaging them. So he has his own images as well. So I probably would have played a Lord on turn 2. Even if it gets imaged, you get to image your own Lord, and you're at least at parity.
And so goodbye bear.
Vapor Snag takes out the bear. Chris VanMeter plays out a land and trying to get a good idea of what's in his hand.
And let's see.
This was not the sort of action I expected to see from this matchup. I expected to see fast and furious, blood on both sides, and what we're seeing is draw go. I haven't really played this mirror match very much.
I have not played it at all, actually. I know that I believe Todd Anderson, who has written a lot about this archetype, thinks of it as a very skill-intensive mirror. I have not played it one bit. So, Stitch Drake comes down, removing the only creature in Devin's yard. I believe that will walk into one of many counterspells. Snappy into Vapor Snag, which is effectively a quasi-counterspell since the cost of the creature in the yard.
And now Chris is on the offensive. Now Devin is in a position where he has to react to Chris's pressure. I'm not sure I would have played that Stitch Drake there, actually. Both the threat of... Stitch Drake is just like your biggest creature in the mirror, and the threat of exactly that happening, setting you back from several turns, the ability to actually ever cast it. I think Devin is playing too passively. Yeah. On the play, I think you have to run your guys out there.
Gut Shot kills the Snapcaster Mage.
All right.
I think you're right, though. I'm just guessing based on my thoughts on it. Now we have the Moorland Hunt, which has no food.
And why did this not come into play turn 2 if it's going to play now?
Yeah. This can be leaked, amongst other things. And let's pretend that he leaks and leaks back. Then the thing before that he was maybe playing around, the Phantasmal image,
that just
still happens.
Right. So I'm a bit confused by Devin's choices here. It seems like if you're gonna be on the play, you want to take the advantage of being on the play and get your stuff out there.
And we see the image.
Mana leaks?
No.
Sorry,
Mana leak stops the Lord. Untap for Chris VanMeter. I see image in hand, maybe times 2, you said?
Looked like multiple images.
And I think I see a bear, but I'm not 100% sure. Chris, shuffle, think. Taps 1 mana. Taps 2 mana.
And plays the Lord of his own.
Played his own Lord. This Lord looks like it's going to resolve. I see Lord and a image and a Vapor Snag in Devin's hand. If any of you happen to be a local player, for example, and you think we have Devin's name wrong, we apologize. We cannot read his handwriting. Devin goes 5th land. Moves 2 islands off to the side. He looks like he likes the bucket island.
A clear misplay.
I agree.
The Storm Island is by far the best.
Are you talking about Lightning Bolt Islands?
No, I'm talking about the Zendikar one, the Storm, whatever. The
Gotcha.
Veronique Marnard. Or, she actually, I discovered that she actually makes all of the land from Zendikar that I like.
Nice. Lord of the Unreal and a Phantasmal image copying it come down for Devin.
I mean, I guess that it's possible that Devin didn't want to play his Lord out and have the possibility of playing his image into a Vapor Snag, but he's just in that same situation here. I guess there's two lords now,
there's two lords, so it was
he
safe.
can't lose it to a Vapor Snag.
It was safe there.
But here Chris is going to be able to Lord, and that's going to resolve. Even a Vapor Snag, you don't like target, so I'll choose.
He's really trying to bait that Vapor Snag out of his hand, you know.
Yeah, he's like,
Do you have any responses? Anything you want to do? Is that okay? That's fine, he says. We have a Vapor Snag and a Stitch Drake as Devin's only cards. And I think we're going to see another one.
So these are some gigantic images. So for those of you who aren't quite clear on how this interaction works, when Phantasmal Image copies Lord of the Unreal, Lord of the Unreal does not say other illusions because it itself is not an illusion, so it actually pumps itself and gives itself hexproof. So each of those lords is a 5/5 at the moment. Well, other than the real one.
On Chris's
the real
side.
Lord of the Unreal is 2/2. The Unreal Lords of the Unreal are 5/5, whereas Devin has a 2/2 and a 3 and a 4/4 rather. So Devin with quite a few lands, and
he's got a crazy tap going on. 1, 2.
Is this crazy tap just Stitch Drake?
I think it's just Stitch Drake. He did it so deliberately. So much drama to the tap here. Stitch Drake, down it goes. Lord of the Unreal out of the yard. No creatures left in Devin's yard.
So the graveyard effects in Devin's deck working overtime, and a bit overtaxed actually because he has no creatures to remove with that Moorland Haunt.
In they come, the Unreal Lords of the Unreal.
So 2 5/5s coming in. Chris, I believe, has a Vapor Snag in his hand still. So,
and I think Devin also has a Vapor Snag in his hand.
These blocks seem like they could. All right, so
Last
Snag.
card, Snag. Manly can stop this from Chris. He has it in hand.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just leak here. I guess you could, if you let it resolve, then you end up with. I think you just leak.
I think you leak. I think it's just
sure.
too much of a loss. Or Snapcaster leak. That works too.
I think I would have leaked out of my hand because with your Vapor Snag in hand, you put your opponent in a position to block and get blown out. If he just leaks from hand,
that's fair. That's absolutely
fair. If
he
just leaks from hand, he has Vapor Snag still in his hand. If Devin tries to double block one of them, he can blow him out with that Vapor Snag.
Absolutely, you're totally correct.
I don't think getting that Snapcaster in play and using your mana that way is nearly as powerful as the ability to just kill both of your creatures with your opponent's creatures, or rather kill one for free and not lose your own.
Yeah, and now what's going to happen is Devin is still going to be outclassed with his Unreal Lord of the Unreal, but even if that's the case, maybe not. No, there we go. He's still going to be outclassed by his Unreal Lord of the Unreal.
Gutshot makes that. All right, Gutshot makes that not too bad.
It's still not as good as the other one.
The thing is, if Devin had also blocked with his own image, he would have traded images there.
Because there was no way he was going to bring that image out though. Like the image was not going to block. It would put him back.
He could have traded his image because he didn't block until after that point. So if he blocks with his 4/4 image, or rather his 3/3 image, and actually, am I doing this math wrong? No, it was a 4/4, right? Yeah,
it was a 4/4.
So Chris's would also die in that situation because Chris would go down one Lord, and his would only be a 4/4. It would have taken 4 damage.
That's fair.
And then that image dies. So I really disagree with how Chris plays that. If his opponent ends up playing it in that manner.
We see a Gitaxian probe from Chris VanMeter revealing a Mana Leak from Devin.
Mana Leak, not something that you want to have in your hand in this position when you're so far behind and your opponent can very easily play around it. So Devin left with just a 3/3 image. Oh. Ponder, you want to Mana Leak it? Huh?
Yes. Let me stop it.
You want a Mana Leak? I know you can. No? Okay. We'll go digging. So that image comes in, and it looks like
we're gonna see a spirit come out into play.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna try and trade with both the spirit and the image,
unless something goes wrong.
And he just vapor snags it before he blocks. I guess
his life total is diminishing very rapidly.
Yeah,
so.
it's true. It's true. You can just do a lot of damage this way.
He's got 2 cards left in his hand. One of them, I believe, is a Mana Leak still. Is that correct?
It is. He could have Mana Leaked that Vapor Snag. I think I certainly would Mana Leak Vapor Snag there.
Absolutely.
Like you...
I mean, Chris has a Mana Leak in hand, is what I was saying.
Right, but...
and then Devin also has one.
Devin has a Mana Leak and it's his only card in hand, and Chris knows that. He's not going to put himself into a position where that Mana Leak is going to be better than that was.
We've got the 3-Moon Ponder.
The correct Ponder.
Yeah, that is the correct Ponder. I don't like fishy Ponder.
And that's going to be a shuffle.
Looks like a Delver and 2 lands. No, thank you.
That is certainly not the cards that you're looking for at this point in the game.
What is the card you think you want right now?
Something that's not in your deck. I think the optimal draws for Devin here are just images.
I think so,
Image
yeah.
is just the best card he can draw here. Image is just pretty much the most powerful card in this mirror match because of its interaction with Lord. And the fact that you can often get your opponent's Lords as well. So,
you know, a part of me wonders if it's worthwhile to consider not having Lord in your deck so that you can just work off of their Lords. But
I think it's totally reasonable. I think that you end up opening yourself up to getting your Lords imaged, and you end up, you know, the way that Devin played this game at the beginning, he was playing an incredibly passive game because he was afraid of getting his Lords imaged, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And you can't afford to do that in a matchup like this.
I think I see Mana Leak, Snapcaster Mage, and Vapor Snag for Chris VanMeter. I'm not 100% sure of all of that hand, but I think that's what I saw. And
he can just attack with everything.
5 life here is not very much. He can make a spirit to chump something. If he comes in with his Lord of the Unreal, then the Unreal Lord of the Unreal that Devin has can eat it. But he is in a really, really rough position in terms of like...
But he has both Snag and Leak in hand? There's
Chris VanMeter has Snag and Leak.
Right, so...
Well, he has Leak definitely, or Snag definitely. Oh yeah, he has Snag and Leak.
Well, he has...
Snappy
at worst.
And I think I see a Snag there. That looks like a Snag, yeah.
Well, if he doesn't have Leak... Okay, so... He goes to 1 life. And there's 2 Mana Leaks.
There's the Leak. And then Leak back for the win.
Oh,
or he just pays.
Pays for Mana Leak, okay.
Take 4, take 1.
So...
I think what we had there was a out-of-order sequencing
Yeah,
do-back situation. This is actually something I've talked about with Ricky and with Nicholas, where one of the things that is possible is that if you're a bad actor, and I don't believe that Devin was trying to be a bad actor here, that with the current judge philosophy, it's possible for things that could be kind of a little bit sketchy to happen.
Sure. So, as expected, Chris VanMeter wins that game. And
you expected that because you are banking on the name power of Chris and his experience.
No, I'm saying as expected from that board position.
From that board position. Okay.
From the fact that he had 18 life and 3 guys and his opponent was at 1.
Okay. I thought you had predicted earlier in the game.
No. I mean, I actually would have predicted Chris to win that game on turn 2 when his opponent didn't play a creature in the play.
Yes.
But But yeah, I'm still kind of perplexed as to what Devin's plan there was.
Well, if he's not familiar with the mirror, one of the things that, I have not played this mirror. I'm not sure what I would have done, but I might not have made that play. Maybe I would have made that play. But it's possible that Devin has not really played the mirror. Yeah. A lot of times you have a deck like Illusions. You play it against other people. You're like, hey, you got red? Okay, cool. Do you have Andrew Cuneo's deck? Do you have Wolf Run Ramp? And you don't end up playing the mirror, so you actually don't know how to do it.
Yeah, it's definitely something that players do less than they should. Is particularly with popular decks, play the mirror match. Finding out what's important and how the optimal sequences of play should go.
One of my favorite things to do is if I have a deck I like, play against someone who likes to play that deck and play the mirror to death.
Mm-hmm. So, looking at these players' sideboards...
Oh, there we go. This is going to be a little bit different, I think. Chris VanMeter...
He has a bunch of Stitch Drakes.
Mental Misstep, Gut Shot, Dismember.
They're basically on the same
Dissipate,
plan.
Stitch Drakes.
I see some Stitch Drakes, some Mental Missteps.
And it looks like Devin actually has that missing land that Chris already has in his main deck. Devin has it in his board. We see again the Mental Misstep, Dissipate, Stitch Drake. He also has Oblivion Ring.
Mm-hmm. Chris VanMeter has Revoke Existence in his sideboard. Interesting. So, I have said, as have you, that we're not really familiar with how this sideboarding goes, or rather how this matchup goes. How do you think the players are going to sideboard here? What do you think comes out?
Honestly, I feel like I'm shooting in the dark. If it was me, I might consider sideboarding down Mana Leaks to 3. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I want it in my opening hand. I'm not sure about Lord of the Unreal as a 4 of after sideboard.
Mm-hmm. I can see taking out some number of Gitaxian probes since your life is very relevant.
I'm not sure about Phantasmal Bear, but the thing is the more you take out, the less you become this deck. And, you don't want to just become some sort of impotent kind of control deck with some cards.
The Stitch Drakes are pretty powerful. They are able to dominate the at least a single Imaged Lord, and they pretty much demand that you have some sort of answer to them. Chris has one copy of Dismember in his main, one copy in his sideboard. I'm going to imagine that Chris is likely to bring out some number of copies of Gitaxian Probe, because having Dismembers and Probes and Gut Shots in his deck in a matchup where he's being substantially threatened by his opponent.
I don't think that Dismember stays in, actually. I think Dismember goes out.
I think that you need to be able to kill Stitch Drake.
I think that Vapor Snag is going to be one of the ways you handle Stitch Drake.
Absolutely.
Combined with some combination of Mana Leak and or Dissipate. And also, I think Phantasmal Image being out is a way you might try to handle Stitch Drake. Because one of the things about Dismember, 4 life to kill a creature
it's a lot of
in
life.
This matchup, it's a lot of life.
That's certainly true.
Particularly when you know that they might just have counterspells. And they don't have each other's deck lists. I have definitely seen Illusions lists that run Negate in their board and or main.
Sure.
Typically more in their board. But the thing about that is, you don't really want to have Dismember be strong countered.
Right. Well, I was actually going to go look at one of Todd Anderson's recent articles to see what he recommended, but he actually doesn't have any Dismembers, so I don't know what his thoughts are.
Well, he does interestingly have the Negate in the board that we're talking about.
He has a singleton Negate. Yep. He has actually pretty much. It looks like Devin is playing pretty much Todd's exact list here.
His sideboard
he
appears to be quite a bit
He has
different.
a couple different cards in his board.
Active Aggression is different in the board.
Uh-huh.
Actually, what do you think about Active Aggression? During combat, stealing a Lord of the Illusions from your opponent.
Costs a lot
or Lord
of
of Unreal, I should say.
I think I would rather just kill it with Dismember for 1 mana than steal it.
I think you can get a better blowout if it resolves.
You can, but it's still 6. It's 4 life and 3 mana versus
3 mana is a big deal trying to fight that war.
That's a lot of mana to be doing during combat. So, taking a look here. No sideboarding plans listed on in the most recent article. Let's take a look a little bit back.
And I think we see Chris VanMeter here mulliganing.
All right.
For those of you who are just joining us, Welcome to the Star City Games Open here. This is Standard Day 1 live in live in St. Louis. I'm Adrian Sullivan, joined here by Brian Kibler. It is round 7 of 10. 10 grueling rounds of Swiss for our 557 competitors here today. We have a mirror match here. Basically blue-white illusions. Primarily blue-white for Morlandhot activations, and a little bit of sideboard action in the form of Oblivion Ring and or Revoke Existence, depending on which player you're looking at. But the white is basically just for Morlandhaunt.
Yeah, the Morlandhaunt has proven since its introduction with Innistrad to be one of the real power players in Standard.
Oh, absolutely.
It gives creature decks a lot of ability to just continue to pressure the opponent even after all of their creatures have died. And while it's certainly at its most powerful in decks that have cards like Honor the Pure to boost the tokens, it is definitely a major player in the success of the illusion deck.
Stensia Bloodhall is one of the, actually I think the only one of that cycle of cards that hasn't really seen real play.
Yep, I've had it in the sideboard of decks, but it's never quite made the main.
We've got to see a Ponder from Devin. He shuffles away a Delver of Secrets and a couple of other cards that are less exciting, and we go to Chris.
So
I kind of find myself wondering if Ponder is
I think he was pondering for a land there.
How is this? Is he no lands?
He has no other land.
Oh, wow. I think wow. Rough beats.
So,
and
pass the turn
says
over
to go.
Chris.
Chris VanMeter.
Chris VanMeter leads 1-0, and he plays, I think that's a Ludwig's test subject. No, wait, it's a Delver Secret.
Delver has been making a huge splash in Legacy.
Did you happen to watch the interview with Eric Lauer that was posted by?
I would love to watch that.
Evan Irwin did an interview with Eric Lauer, and one of the things they talked about was Delver of Secrets, and apparently the original version of Delver of Secrets flipped on creatures.
Huh. That's funny.
And Eric was saying, he's like, yeah, I played, when I took over lead development for the set, I played my first game of Limited. My opponent played turn 1 Delver of Secrets, turn 2 flipped it, played another guy, turn 3 played another guy, turn 4 killed my guy, and I was like, well, that was pretty awful. And someone came to ask him, he's like, oh, so Eric, what'd you think about the set? He's like, I don't think that 3/2 flyer for 1 should be a common. And it remained a common, but the trigger condition changed to something that is a lot harder to hit in Limited, but not too hard to hit in Constructed.
We have a gut shot from Devin Koepke, or whatever it is, Devin, that kills the Delver.
Devin K.
Yeah, that kills the Delver. And Chris lays a Morlandhaunt and says go.
But Devin is still having a bit of mana trouble. He has...
Oh, there he goes. He's out of it.
He has drawn out of that. Chris,
we have Morlandhaunts on both sides, but Chris is the only one that has a token. This 1/1 could potentially do a lot of damage. And at the end of that turn there, we see a Snapcaster gut shot.
It's apparently gut shotting for blue mana or something, because he paid an extra additional mana.
Hey, look at that. Take it. You're dead. There's a very aggressive Devin gut shot. And 1 blue, he burns. Doesn't take damage from that anymore, though. Cast Fat Modi, burn for 1.
So back in the Ice Age Alliance's block constructed days, when you cast Jokel Hops, did you pick up all your opponents with the card and put them into the graveyard? Because that's very aggressive.
I never did that. I think, though, actually, Devin is taking a page out of the Chandelar, play style. Is that the name of it? And
starting with the Mahamodian play?
He's casting the Modi here and then burning.
Okay, sure.
Chris VanMeter untapped, facing down a Snapcaster, and a fairly low life total from Devin.
Looks like Chris has a lot of land in his hand. If I'm evaluating this correctly, it looks like are those
at least 2 lands?
It looks like coast,
maybe 3 lands.
It looks like coast, gut shot, and I think that might be another island. Looks like he may be very, very heavy on land.
I think do you just gut shot the Snapcaster?
Yeah.
There you go, 2 damage.
So kill that. You killed mine, I'll kill yours. How about that?
And says go. And we get a 4th land for Devin. Devin really loves getting that land at this point. I mean, he's got some good cards in his hand. I see a Snapcaster, a Mana Leak, a Phantasmal Image.
And Chris draws another land. So Devin may have been stalled on land early, but stalling on land and drawing out of it is much, much better than just having land in a matchup like this.
And I think Chris is going to say go. Devin, end of the turn, makes a 1/1 Spirit, removing the Snapcaster Mage. And Chris, while he's tapped down at this point, spends 2 mana. I think it's going to be a Snapcaster and then a Gut Shot on that Spirit.
Boom. Spirit
That is
down.
second blood for Chris VanMeter, knocking him down to 16. Another spell there for Devin. It looks like a Mana Leak. Oh, maybe he already had it and he just drew the Glacial Fortress. I might have that backwards.
I think he drew Glacial Fortress. He had Mana Leaks in his hand before, so Stronghold Mana Leaks.
Phantasmal Image in hand.
My guess is that he's going to Snapcaster that Ponder back.
Snapping a Ponder, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a super awesome Silvergill Adept.
Yeah. He's playing Legacy. I mean, jeez. So, it looks like he's shuffling with that Ponder.
Still looking at the Ponder. Okay.
And shuffle, shuffle. At some point, the game state will advance.
And there we go. Let's see what happens. One thing that Devin and Chris have to be careful about is they have the exact same sleeves and the exact same deck.
Oh, they do, yeah. That's pretty funny.
I hope that they don't mix their stuff together. I have found pink sleeves to be very techy.
It's actually in the Worlds, Luis and Paulo were playing, and they were both using the exact same sleeves. And they shuffle up, and they present. It was like, which one's mine? Paulo's like, which one's mine? And Luis is like, doesn't matter. Playing the exact same 75 cards. And then Luis is just like, actually, this one's mine. He's like, because I would have been totally tilted if I drew, like a 10th edition Plains. Luis obviously playing with all betas.
Chris VanMeter draws a Phantasmal Bear and plays it. 6 mana up. Or 5 mana up, pardon me. 6 lands and play 5 mana up. Chris has an empty graveyard.
Yeah, I don't know much about this matchup, but I do know that flooding out on land is not how you win.
I mean, it's possible that the game will last long enough that he, will just draw all spells, because so many land already out. 15 to 16. Devin slightly down on life, also down on creatures, but he definitely has a ton of spells in his hand. We see a Vapor Snag that kills the
Terror.
Phantasmal Bear, but does turn on the Moorland Haunt from Chris VanMeter. And I think actually that means that they finally have not empty graveyards again, because they emptied them out with their Moorland Haunt and their Snapcaster. And now we have a Phantasmal Image coming into play.
So.
And he Vapor Snags the Phantasmal.
Vapor Snags a Snapcaster. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that one bit. I mean, do you really want that 1 damage so badly?
Yeah, that just gives him so much value. I think I take the damage here. I think that my evaluation of what is likely in Devin's hand at this point, granted I know what's in his hand, but if you're sitting in Chris's seat and you see how Devin's been playing this game, you have to assume he has mana leak, because he spent the early turns of the game not really playing anything, and he was stalled on mana, so he certainly doesn't have mana in his hand.
Oh. And he goes and makes a Spirit blocks and kills Snapcaster.
That is also a play I approve of. I certainly wouldn't cast my Snapcaster Mage and let it get mana leaked.
I mean, particularly, it's just so valuable to have that reusability.
Right. Yeah, I really disagree with that Vapor Snag.
I don't know what it accomplished.
It accomplished giving Chris another Snapcaster.
Yeah,
Mage.
I mean, for Devin.
Right.
I mean, 1 damage.
I mean, it potentially was 3 damage, but I mean, he had the Moorland Haunt in play. He has the the Moreland Haunt.
But the Vapor Snag doesn't accomplish that. You know, I mean,
Right.
the second Vapor Snag.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess essentially what he did was like he decided have a Phyrexian Rager.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and I believe this is going to get Vapor Snagged and killed because is he taking the damage?
I think he is because maybe something better will come along. Like, there's a bear. That's not better.
The same card. Like one's a 2. I guess it's a 2/1 versus a 2/2.
Or his opponent could walk a Phantasmal Image into play. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
Now, if he wants, he can go Snag, EOT, Snapcaster Snag.
Yeah.
Which seems like a much more effective use of Snag, actually killing creatures rather than returning them.
And if Devin does have Mana Leak, he can only Mana Leak the second Snag.
And it doesn't actually matter because they're phantoms. So
right, yeah, that's true.
They're targeted. They're dead.
That is definitely. I mean, Devin just gave him the Snapcaster to do this. Yeah, I think that it's
dead bear.
Yeah, so he should just cast Snapcaster here.
There it is, snappy. Thinking about it.
I mean, this is. Games of aggressive decks often come down to this kind of attrition.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why the...
Mana Leak, just to stop the Snag from happening again, which is just fine.
Yeah, that's totally reasonable.
Chris draws. Is that another Snapcaster in hand?
It is. So now these Moreland Haunts are going to make it very difficult to actually kill anyone with Snapcaster Mages.
Tapped out. There's a guy.
And
Snapcaster Snag. Dies for good. Take 1.
So take 3
take
total.
2 more.
Putting Devin down to 12 life. It looks like Chris only has land in hand, though.
And Devin draws.
So Devin with an image on Snapcaster in play. Chris VanMeter with 2 Snapcaster Mages. Both players with 6 land, one of them Moreland Haunt. Chris VanMeter has no creatures in his graveyard, but Devin has 1. So Chris is definitely in the superior aggressive position, but Devin has a number of cards in hand, at least a couple of which are spells, whereas Chris, from the looks of it, has 2 land and has just drawn a Mental Misstep.
Here we have 2 Snapcasters coming on in.
So Devin likely just makes a guy and tries to trade.
I mean, heck, I would double trade if I were him.
Right, absolutely. So here they come. Block.
Block, block. Everybody dies. Devin has a creature in the yard.
And this gives a Stitch Drake.
Wow.
I thought that was a Mental Misstep. It's a little better than a Mental Misstep.
I like that much better.
Yeah, that is a much more powerful draw.
3-4.
So Devin does have, it looks like Snapcaster and Phantasmal Images hand. So he's going to be able to get a Stitch Drake of his own. I don't believe that Devin has any way to actually kill a Stitch Drake. Chris has those Dismembers, which I'm guessing are in his deck. Oh,
Stitch Drake v. Stitch Drake.
Oh, he drew an actual Stitch Drake, so...
And that means that Devin is empty on creatures in the yard.
And Image makes another Stitch Drake.
Land for Chris VanMeter in hand, and he draws. I can't tell what that is.
Taxian Probe, I think.
And Chris
Yep,
lays or cast the probe.
Show me what you're working with.
I actually think that card is very powerful in this.
It is. I think that you can't afford to have all your probes, but I definitely think that you want to have some number of probes.
We have safely relocated you here. Your pairings for round number 2.
All right, and Chris draws a Ludwig's test subject. I mean, Delver of Secrets. Be a lot better as a Ludwig's test subject right here. So that potentially gives, if Chris can flip a spell, both players a couple of 3 power flyers. Oh, well, he knew that mental misstep was there, and he got rid of it. So Devin has, I believe, Snapcaster left in his hand.
I think you're correct.
Whereas Chris has the Stitch Drake. Chris also has a couple of creatures in his yard, so Devin can't really attack. If Devin attacks, he just ends up trading a Stitch Drake for a
1/1. Yeah, there are 3 creatures.
But
here he is.
For it.
3 creatures in VanMeter's yard here.
So make a guy, and both of them block the real Stitch Drake for sure.
I don't know.
I don't know that Devin thought this through. So he's going to lose his Stitch Drake for a 1/1. Yep. And there it is. So
goodbye, Spirit. Take 3 for Chris VanMeter. And Chris untaps with Devin saying
we're
no.
Back at something like parity, but Chris's is a real creature, so any gut shot kills Devin's Stitch Drake. Any Vapor Snag. Yeah, I think Devin at least has to wait until he draws something like a gut shot there.
And Chris says go. End of the turn, Devin has the opportunity here to make that Stitch Drake into a spirit of his own.
I'm not sure I would. I think that it's possible that you need that resource. Oh, no, Chris did not say go. He may have been asking a question or something, and sends in his Stitch Drake. Is he just making a guy and blocking? I'm trying to figure out how this math plays out. So, if Devin just takes it, he goes to 9. He can make a token of his own, attack Chris to 6. Though, is that a creature in Chris's yard? Is that a Snapcaster below?
There's one creature left.
And Chris has a couple of land in hand, looks like. Can't tell what the other card is.
Here comes the Spirit.
So makes a guy. Devin, I believe, down to 9 life. Chris at 10. That may have been a little aggressive on Chris's part.
In comes 4 damage.
I also disagree with Devin's choice to just play his land there. Chris knows his hand from Gitaxian Probe.
Yes.
This completely removes Devin's ability to bluff anything, and there's no reason to have additional land in play.
Chris goes to 6. End of the turn, makes a Spirit.
Makes a guy.
Can't quite make out what Chris got there. He's kibbling right now. Or he was.
Alright, looking at a Moorland Haunt. I don't see any colored cards. No, maybe? Oh, no, that's a mental misstep, maybe? Or is that a Stitch Drake? I seem to... I messed them up last time. So Chris is at 6 life. Devin actually... I believe Devin has a Snapcaster in his hand.
Okay.
I believe that was the one card we knew. So, yeah, he can't attack because Snapcaster will just... When there's another Stitch Drake... So, Devin in the tank. Yeah, that looks like Stitch Drake and a Snapcaster Mage in Devin's hand. So, if that is Stitch Drake and not Mental Misstep, because I can't tell. Oh, he's doing this again. He's just sending in... I really don't understand what's happening.
I think,
What? I don't
know what he's accomplishing.
He's trading off 3 force for 1/1.
Yeah.
You dealt 1 damage. If Devin had just played that Stitch Drake and then at least waited a turn to attack, he deals 3 more damage.
I think he doesn't have any other creatures in his yard.
Okay.
So he's changing his fake one into a real one?
Yeah. I guess that's okay. I don't know. I mean, like, if he was worried about that, like, why did he make a spirit? I think that in a matchup like this, like we were saying earlier, these games can very much come down to just the narrowest of resources and throwing away, in particular, powerful resources like Stitch Drakes. They're one of the most important cards in this matchup. They're the biggest creature on the board. You can't afford to lose them to just sneak in some damage here and there, unless it's a lot of damage. You know, thus far, Devin has lost a pair of Stitch Drakes and killed 2 spirits and done like 2 damage.
Yep. I mean, Chris is, as a result of that, down to 5 life.
It's true, but he would be, Devin could have, several more Stitch Drakes.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
So, I mean, Devin has put Chris in a position where he's basically dead to Vapor Snag, which is, I mean, to be fair, if Devin has a Vapor Snag and Chris does not have a mental misstep, Devin will just win the game. But I feel like this game should have already been over in Devin's favor.
I agree with you completely. And Ponder as a shuffle and a new card.
And
that's another Snapcaster?
He's attacking again. Am I right? And this time the attack certainly makes some sense because there's no Snapcaster for misstep. Yeah, it looks like Chris just has land. So that's going to resolve. Oh, no, there is a misstep. So Chris missteps back. So Snag will resolve.
Snag.
Snag resolves, and that will kill Devin's spirit and strand that Stitch Drake in Devin's hand.
Devin looks like he has a Phantasmal Bear in hand.
I believe he has the another Snapcaster and the Stitch Drake that just got bounced. So that also puts Devin at 8 life. Yeah, he's going to Snapcast Ponder.
Yeah, I think Devin absolutely should have won this game based on the various trades that he's given away.
So we see
Mana Leak,
misstep. No,
and something.
Keep that. So Devin is still in an advantage position here. Chris has 3 lands in hand, no fuel for Moorland Haunt, and just a Stitch Drake.
Now, to be fair, we've been talking about how mana flooded Chris has been. Devin has drawn 8 land, and so far Chris has drawn 9.
Yep.
It's just that he has been able to use Snapcasters for Ponders.
Right. Snapcaster has given Devin a lot of value, and Chris has drawn a couple Snapcasters, but hasn't got. Ooh, that's a
Delver, I think.
No, I think that was an image.
That is an image. Wow.
So if he images a Snapcaster here, that doesn't do anything. He can attack and then just image his Drake. Yeah, if he attacks, images Drake. If Devin doesn't have anything, he's just dead because he just dies to the pair of Drakes attacking next turn. Even if he has something that can kill the image,
he still has the Moorland Hunt. Then
he still has Moorland Hunt, right? So
and he says, "I want the Drake." You're at 5, Devin.
Yep. So now Devin needs something immediately. And he draws.
Chris's hand is empty, just land.
Oh, I think that's another Stitch Drake, but he has that Stitch Drake. Oh, gut shot.
On the Stitch Drake, going for the kill.
Well,
he's got a Moorland Hunt to protect himself.
And he doesn't have the kill. So and gut shot will put him at 3 life, so he can't actually do it. because he'll die to the Stitch Drake. If he gut shots the image, then Devin puts himself to 3. He doesn't. He has Moorland Haunt, but he can't actually save himself. He can kill one of his own guys. Wait, he's tapping mana?
No, it came into play tapped.
Oh, he played a land too. Yeah, he's sort of in the tank trying to figure out if there's any way he can live.
And now Chris knows that he's won.
Yeah, the answer is just no.
I mean, what could happen is Chris VanMeter could get up and punch the judge right now, and then that would mean Devin would win.
Bertrand Lestray.
Yes.
Could, channel the spirit of. So he's attacking. Okay. So here, well, now Chris knows he has gut shot. So now, okay, so Chris has to block, and that gut shot, he'll be able to play he'll play a Stitch Drake. So this game isn't quite over.
Right.
We may have jumped a little ahead of ourselves. So yep, blocks 1. That will allow Devin to play his Stitch Drake.
Chris goes down to 3.
Kind of funny that Devin just revealed it. He's just like, oh. So now Chris knows exactly how he has to play.
And then Stitch Drake should come down here.
So he plays Stitch Drake.
You got it? No, you don't.
All right. So now
Land for Chris.
So yeah, Chris. All right. We still have a game. And he draws. I think it's a Ponder. No, it's a Stitch Drake.
A Stitch Drake, which I don't think it does anything.
He cannot currently play it.
All it will take, though, is a death of his own Stitch Drake to be able to... This has actually been a really interesting game.
There's been a lot of back and forth here.
As you can see, no one has been poisoned this game.
It's true. Which is unfortunate. More people should be poisoned in any given game.
Yep, I agree. So right now, knowing that a gut shot is in Devin's hand, he's in a position where he knows that he cannot cast anything for Phyrexian mana for the rest of the game, which does kill a lot of cards. No creatures in either player's yard, so their Moorland Haunts at this point have no fuel. Devin has a gut shot and does not know that Chris VanMeter has 3 lands and a Stitched Drake.
Attention Magic players, that is kind of around. Active players.
Ooh.
Here they come.
Attackers.
This will be able to feed the other Drake.
Will it? Oh, okay, he kills it. He doesn't go to choose not to. That's, it's kind of interesting.
And now there's a trade.
So that's actually kind of, if Devin just blocks there, I think he wins, right? If Devin does not gut shot the creature, just blocks, takes damage, he wins.
I think you're correct, because there'd be no food for the Stitch Drake in hand.
There'd be nothing. So instead, he loses. Wow.
Wow. And Chris reveals the hand.
Well, no, Devin was at 5 life, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because he lost 2 for. Wow. That was a pretty sick play on Chris VanMeter's part, because he's just dead if Devin doesn't kill his guy. But he puts Devin in a spot where he's just like, well,
if you have anything, I'm in trouble.
Well, he knows Devin's hand too.
Yes.
Wow, that
was some good magic, actually,
that
from
was
Chris.
Pretty masterful on Chris VanMeter's part. So Chris VanMeter wins this match, 2-0, in a match that I think, yeah, wow, he really had to dig deep to win there.
Yeah, I think that also he was in the position where he didn't say, Devin, I forgot. He's like, here it is, Devin. Like, I had nothing.